In this session, we will talk about the basics of IX VariWave hardware installation of blade cards into a chassis. At this point, we'll assume you've already received a chassis, and in that box, you'll have a static strap, which you should be prepared to put onto your wrist and attach to the chassis. You'll have power cord, you'll have a sync cord, you'll have the user's manual, which you should have a look at, and you'll have individual blade cards, which are still packaged in their individual shipping containers. In this, we will talk about handling the blades and installation of the blades into a chassis. As I mentioned, there will be a static strap. Please put it on your wrist and attach it to the top rail or the bottom rail of the chassis. Failure to wear a static discharge wrist strap can leave you in a position where you can damage a wave blade by contact with the circuitry on the blade card directly and never know it. You must always use a static discharge wrist strap while you're handling the cards. Always. Packing and unpacking the boxes always requires an ICSIA approved shipping container. Notice there is foam on the top of the card and foam surrounding the card, and each card is always packed in a static free bag. If you return the card to the factory, you must pack it the same way. Handle the card always by its edges, and always handle the card only when connected with a static strap on your wrist. It is also good practice to have static straps on the heels of your shoes. Inserting a card into the chassis means aligning the card with the slide rails at the bottom and top of the chassis. There's a slide rail in the top and the bottom. In the leftmost slot will only go the WB1000 management blade. Wi-Fi blades and Ethernet blades never go in the left slot and will always go in the rightmost slots. Inserting the card means aligning the PCB of the card with the bottom slot first, then aligning with the top, sliding the card gently in, and using the handles to contact the mounting rails and then pushing the handles towards one another to seat the card. If the card does not want to seat, you may have inserted it into the wrong slot. If it's difficult to seat, remove the card and inspect at the back panel to make sure there are no damaged connectors or there's no damage in the back of the chassis. The card should slide firmly into place, but not with difficulty. When you put the next card in next to it, you may have to push a little harder to get it to seat. When you are done with all of the cards in the chassis, there should be no open spaces in the chassis. Always fill an open gap in the chassis with a blank. This ensures proper cooling airflow through the chassis. In the chassis, WT20, the air enters the bottom next to the feet and blows out the top of the chassis. In a WT90, the airflow comes in the front and exhausts out the back. The air comes in the sides and in the front and out the back. It is recommended that periodically, wearing a static strap, you remove the cards from the chassis, you place them into static bags, and then use a vacuum cleaner to remove dust that builds up on the fans and at the air intakes and exhausts. Again, always remember to use the packing containers supplied by ICSIA, the foam packing, and the shipping containers whenever transporting the cards. Whenever transporting the cards within a lab, always place the cards into a static bag before walking from one place to another.